Your job as a man in the first conversation is to be engaging, to be entertaining, to get emotions out of her. If you go into interview mode and you ask her boring questions without adding spice to it, she's going to reject you. She's not going to be interested in you. And damn right, you're not going to get a phone number. Today, I'm going to give you 3 MP gambits. What is MP? That stands for metaphysical, bro, Tendo. So metaphysical, what does that mean? It's spiritual. It's woo-woo. It's the kind of that girls absolutely love. If you want to get a girl engaged in a conversation, just talk about this stuff.
The Unapologetic Man Podcast.
What is up, you champions? Thank you for tuning in to another episode of the UMP. I really do appreciate yous. Today, I'm going to give you 3 MP gambits. What is a gambit? It's something to talk about with women to get them more attracted to you in the first conversation. What is MP? That stands for metaphysical, bro, Tendo, because girls love to talk about this shit, bro, tater cuff. And if you bring this into the conversation, she's going to get a snail trail going down her leg. She's going to get so turned on by you. She's going to jump into the air and slide onto your dick because you're such a goddamn legend. So pay attention. And I'm going to give you 2 extras because I always over deliver, not only in this podcast, but also in my 3-month coaching program. So I'm actually going to give you 5. That's right. 5 things to talk about with chicks. And guys, the final one is so interesting. I've never talked about it on this podcast. I've never shared it with you guys, but believe me, I've shared it with many women and they always find it really interesting. Your job as a man in the first conversation is to be engaging, to be entertaining, to get emotions out of her. If you go into interview mode and you ask her boring questions without adding spice to it, she's going to reject you. She's not going to be interested in you. And damn right, you're not going to get a phone number. So we're going to talk about that today, gentlemen. Before I jump into the content, I want to thank you guys yet again for all the awesome reviews. If you could be so kind to leave me a review, a comment on any or perhaps all of my YouTube videos, a review with writing behind it on iTunes, comments on Spotify or any of the other podcast apps that you listen to this on, I would greatly appreciate it. Do that. Email me at coachmarksing@gmail.com. I will send you 3 awesome programs. I will get your name tattooed on my butt. I will send you a candied apple in a gift basket that also contains lightly smoked pecans. I will send you an entire case of Cuban cigars, as well as a felt smoking jacket with my beautiful mug embroidered on the back of it. That's how much I'd appreciate you. And gentlemen, I give you a lot of good content in this podcast. So look, I scratch your back, you scratch my balls. That's kind of the way it works. So please give me that review. Please support me. Tell your friends about it. We're trying to grow this because more people need to hear about this, how to be masculine, how to be confident, stop buying into belief systems that somebody else gave you. And of course, how to attract women on command, which we're going to get into today. All right. So metaphysical, what does that mean? It's spiritual. It's woo-woo. It's the kind of shit that girls absolutely love. If you want to get a girl engaged in a conversation, just talk about this stuff. Now, last night we had a coaching call, one of my coaching calls that I do each week with my awesome clients in my 3-month coaching program. And David, what is up, David, giving you a shout out, had a great idea when we were brainstorming how to get girls into your house, how to get girls into your apartment. He said what he does is he asks them for their opinion on interior design. And I thought this was an awesome idea because this is the kind of thing that chicks are into. They're into things like interior design, makeup, how to be more attractive, facial cleansers, health products, yoga pants, and yes, boys, metaphysical shit. Like what happens after death, what is the point of us being here, how to maximize things like the law of attraction, how reality actually works, and what the hell is going on here. Believe me, they love this stuff. So what I did, as I always do, is I took David's recommendation and added it to our ongoing list of how to get a girl into your apartment. And I was looking at a different document that I have in my coaching program, and I was just amazed at how many of these metaphysical secrets that I share with my guys in the program, and a few of these I'm going to share with you. But the reason why so many of my clients tell me, dude, you give me enough shit to talk about for literally 27 hours of conversation with one chick. And I'm like, of course, man, that's my job. I have to give you content to get her attracted to you, get her engaged, get her into her emotions. So this first one really works well, especially when you're in set, meaning you're talking to a girl and you need something interesting to keep her attracted to you. If she gets bored and you're not able to get a phone number, not only will it take the starch out of your jammies, but you're going to be butthurt for days on end. So your Uncle Mark's thing is here to prevent that. Here's the first gambit. All right, what you do is you tell her to look at her wrists. Okay, on your wrist, there's always a line, the first line where your wrist basically folds. So directly under your wrist, underneath your arm, and I'm trying to explain this because I know a lot of you guys are listening on audio, is a line where your wrist naturally bends. Okay, each of your hands has that kind of line. What you want to do is line up those two lines, then bring your fingers together, and you will notice that one hand is slightly longer than the other hand. So as she's seeing this, you say, okay, which hand is longer? She's going to say my left hand is. So you're like, okay, your right hand is a little bit shorter. Now here's what we're going to do. We are going to repeat 5 times a command to your right hand. Now stick with me here. I know it's a little weird, but just stick with me. We are going to command your right hand to grow. So here we go. Follow what I say. Right hand, I demand you grow. 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 And then have her do it again. And I shit you not, boys, the fucking right hand becomes longer than the left hand. Now, whether or not this is really true, like she was able to influence her body with her mind, could be possible. But what probably happens is the law of expectation. She probably lines up her hands just slightly differently, and suddenly the right hand becomes longer than the left. This shit works. As stupid as it sounds, as you're sitting there in your truck or on the Stairmaster trying to burn off your little muffin top as you listen to me, it works, bro, Tendo. You got to think of yourself in context. The context of, I'm talking to a girl. I'm trying to get her attracted to me. I need something interesting to speak to her about. Beyond, oh, do you like weather? If you ask her, do you like weather? She's going to blow you out so hard when the concussion hits, your balls are going to fly up and hit the brim of your hat. So do not be boring. Be interesting. This is the hand growth gambit. Steal it. Gambit number 2. Back in the 60s, there was a scientist who was doing experiments on lie detectors. As part of the lie detector, they put this thing on your finger that measures how much water is getting pushed out of your body. Because when you lie, your body naturally pushes out water. You start perspirating. So while he was taking a break, he was interested to see if he put that moisture measuring thing on a plant's leaf, would the plant push out moisture when he watered it? Okay, so what he did is he took the thing that usually goes on people's fingers, he put it on a plant's leaf, and then he watered the plant, and as he expected, the moisture reader went up. So his hypothesis was right. If you water a plant, yes, moisture is pushed out of the leaves. Then as he was sitting there lighting a cigarette with his lighter, he looked at his lighter and he looked at the plant, and he's like, I wonder if I were to light this plant on fire, what would happen? The second he had that thought, the moisture reader on the plant went through the roof, way more than it did when he first watered it. So what does this tell us? Plants relate to your thoughts. If you have a violent thought against a plant, it's going to up its moisture, it's going to up the sap inside of it in order to defend itself. Further research substantiates that our thoughts affect plants, and this, gentleman, is why if you're nice to a plant, if you talk to a plant, if you're really nurturing to it, it will actually grow better, which too has been scientifically proven. So I like to tell this to girls because they love this shit. They love the we're all connected, plants can read our thoughts, and other facts about plants are really interesting too, where in the forest, plants will actually share nutrients with each other. So if you have one plant that's a little disadvantaged because the sun isn't hitting it correctly or it doesn't get the ample amount of water, other plants through the root system will send it nutrients, will send it water, will try to help it live. And this is a good analogy for humanity. The more you do for another, the more you do for yourself. Because we're not individual entities, we are, at least in my opinion, a superorganism. And this oftentimes is what I'll talk about with girls. I'll be like, check out this experiment with the lie detector. Plants actually relate to our thoughts. What else happens in reality? Do perhaps people relate to your thoughts? Maybe we don't know it consciously, but that's perhaps why we get a bad vibe about somebody when we've never even spoken to them. Or perhaps a good vibe. The second you meet somebody, you just feel connected to them because you guys are on similar wavelengths. What is wavelength? It's an energy. We are more than just our body. We are energy fields. We are, in my opinion, very psychic, and we are connected. Boys, when you tell them about this and then you have evidence to prove it, it is so ridiculously powerful. And I have a freaking list a mile long of just gambit after gambit after gambit that I give to my guys in my 3-month coaching program. The shit is powerful. Next one. Scientists have proven that if you show gratitude 3 times a day for 15 minutes, okay, so 3 times a day for 15 minutes, you're showing gratitude, which means thank you for my house, thank you for my car, thank you for my comfortable bed, thank you for the fact that I can see, thank you for Mark Singh's podcast, thank you for my phone, thank you for all these hot chicks in the world, thank you for my dick, because that thing flexes up like the Eiffel Tower, thanking everything that you have in your life 3 times a day for 4 days for just 15 minutes, you will increase a chemical in your body called immunoglobulin. Immunoglobulin. And that chemical actually increases your growth hormone repair by 50%. Think about this, gentlemen. If you simply show gratitude for everything that you have, and I know 15 minutes a day, 3 times a day seems like a lot, but I practice this myself. I do it at least 15 minutes a day, every single day, where you can even just walk around your house and thank for things. Thank you for my phone. Thank you for this podcast. Thank you for that cool neon sign. Thank you for my sick logo. Thank you for these black hats. Thank you for these shirts. Thank you for this awesome tattoo. Thank you for this microphone. Thank you for that light right there. Thank you for that cool poster on my wall of Maximus walking to his family after he dies. And it says, when a man sees his own death, he wants to know there was some purpose to his life. So sick. And I have that on my wall to remind me that my purpose is to help guys like you. There is always things you could be thankful for. So if you do it for 15 minutes, 3 times a day for 4 days, you are going to increase your immunoglobulin by 15%, which is responsible for growth and repair in your body. Think about that, boys. And I've told this, as well as many other metaphysical things, to women. Time and time again, they get attracted. And this is also mentoring. Mentoring, if you don't know, means you are mentoring her, teaching her about things. So anytime I meet a girl, I kind of become a mentor to her, and I teach her these kinds of things, that your thoughts are really powerful. Negative thoughts will create negative consequences, the law of attraction, as well as a myriad of other metaphysical things that I teach them. And of course, they get sprung on me. Don't forget, guys, girls get sprung on leaders. They get sprung on teachers. They get sprung on guys with high value. So when you teach them this stuff, coming into her life with a positive influence, that's when they get attracted to you. All right, next one, and you guys aren't going to like to hear this, but I have to share it. They've been doing a lot of studies on EMF. EMF is electromagnetic frequency. What puts off EMF? Well, many things do, but the ones I want to tell you guys about are your phone as well as your AirPods, those wireless Bluetooth headphones or earbuds that we wear to listen to music. They have actually proven, and I hope you guys aren't going to get pissed at me about this, but I'm trying to help you. They have actually proven that those things cause cancer. They have multiple clinics throughout the United States, England, Australia, and Canada, where all they do is remove tumors from people's heads because of talking on the phone with the phone to your ear, because of wearing AirPods consistently and always having that Bluetooth connection to your phone, sending out that EMF into your brain. Guys, our bodies are very sensitive to these foreign kind of influences. So as I always say, marketers are just there to sell you shit to get your money. So you have to do your own research before you commit to buying something or following a trend that hasn't been adequately researched. I always look into things. I always kind of have a shred of doubt whenever I'm going to buy some new food or a new technology, asking myself, could this be unhealthy for me? Oreo cookies, could that be unhealthy? What was it recently, boys? They discovered nanoparticles in Coca-Cola. because of the light process that they put into it, and nanoparticles can cross the blood-brain barrier and get into your bloodstream and into your brain. No wonder so many of us have brain fog. So many of us are getting cancer and heart disease and everything else. Dude, you have to take responsibility for your life. And I'm telling you, boys, if you're one of those guys that constantly has AirPods in, and I see dudes like that all the time, I'm warning you, man, that shit's gonna have consequences. And I'll talk to girls about that because, again, mentoring. I want her to know that I'm a tier 1 dude and I'm living my life on a certain level. And if she comes under my wing, if she follows my lead, she can join me. And that's the vibe you want to have. And that's what's cool about these gambits. All right, guys, the final one. I absolutely love this one. So do you know where the middle finger comes from and why we use it to flip people off or give them the bird? Well, it actually comes from this battle in 1415 called Agincourt. 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 This was a battle between France and England. And at the time, the French said, any of the soldiers that we catch, we're going to cut off their middle finger. Why would they cut off the middle finger? Because the middle finger is paramount in pulling back a bow. So at the time, you obviously put your index finger and your middle finger on the bowstring, pull it back, and launch the arrow. So they said, anybody who's caught, we're going to cut off their middle finger. Now, when the English archers would shoot their arrows, they would call it plucking. That's what it was called back then. And the bow itself was made of yew. So they would call it pluck yew. So they would call it pluck yew when they shot the arrow, and the arrow shaft had feathers on it made from a bird. So they would call it giving them the bird. Well, after the English won that battle, they all gave the French their middle finger and they said, pluck you. And that's called giving them the bird. So that's how the middle finger first came into existence. That kind of fascinates me, but it also fascinates women. So I gave you guys 5 metaphysical and or simply interesting facts to talk about with women. This gets attraction. Let's review them. The first one is having her put her hands together, demanding that one hand grows. And then lo and behold, boys, she's going to do it again and see that her hand did grow. I can't believe how powerful my mind is. And you're like, oh my hell, this chick is dumb as rocks. The second one is that plants react to our thoughts. The third one is to give gratitude for 3 times a day for 15 minutes for 4 days. And your immunoglobulin will increase by 50%. The fourth one is how AirPods, as well as your cell phone, is basically frying your brain, you idiot. So whenever you take a phone call, put that shit on speaker. Do not put it next to your head because it's literally causing tumors. And the last one is about the Battle of Agincourt, where they were plucking you and how the French were threatening to cut off the middle fingers of the English. And when the English won, they all gave them the middle finger saying, pluck you. And then it became an insult. So gentlemen, I hope you got a lot out of this episode, something to talk about with girls, because honestly, that's one of the biggest problems I see with my clients. They often tell me, I don't know what to talk about. I don't have enough content. I can't keep the conversation going. So as I said, I've dropped a few of these in this podcast over the 586 episodes or wherever I'm at, but all of them are available in my 3-month coaching program. My clients are like, dude, you have a lot of stuff here. And I'm like, brother, I've been collecting shit for 2 decades and I'm no idiot. If somebody says something great, like David did last night, how to get a girl into your apartment, just be like, hey, I'm actually designing this new bedroom. Kind of need some opinions about what colors I should go with. I have a few colors. How would you feel about coming in just for 15 minutes? Because I got to get up early tomorrow morning and checking it out. Great way to yank a girl not only into your apartment, but also into your bedroom. Anytime I get a piece of information like that, and I'm humble, I don't think I know everything, I add it to my repertoire that I give to my boys in the program. And that's why every single one of my clients crushes it with chicks. We were laughing last night about the pussy tsunami that inevitably happens to all my clients and how now you have a new problem. You'd actually need to keep spreadsheets of all the chicks that you're dating just to make sure you didn't actually tell her about plucking you. And then you bring it up again on the second date and she's like, you told me that on the first date. How many girls are you talking to? And you're like, oh shit. You actually need to keep spreadsheets just to monitor these chicks because that's how many girls you are going to get. If you're interested, click the link in the description below, fill out the quick application. Otherwise, gentlemen, please do me a solid and leave me a review. Email me at coachmarksing@gmail.com. And of course, I will send you that felt smoking jacket with my face embroidered on the back. You are a legend. You are a champion. Songs will be written about you that will be sung around campfires for generations to come. I appreciate you listening, and I will see you in the next episode. What is up, brother? Just wanted to thank you sincerely for watching this episode. If you've gotten any value whatsoever out of my content, the single best way to help me is to like, comment, subscribe, leave me a review. You have no idea how much that helps me. Also, if you're struggling with women and you want to talk to me personally about how I can help you achieve your goals with women, sign up for my 3-month coaching program below and you and I will talk. Join us in the Unapologetic Army.